The first thing we're going to talk about is polynomial definitions. So polynomials are a specific set of values that have specific rules. So we're going to go through and do some definitions of these various things. So the first one is constant. So a constant is any value that cannot change. So a value that remains the same. So essentially any number. So 2, 5, -4/5, -10. These are all constant numbers because we're not putting a variable value, which is a letter representing any number. So these are numbers that once you've decided that's a 2, that's always a 2, and you can't change it. So a coefficient is the number multiplied to a variable. We'll come back to that in a second. So a variable is an unknown number. And you use letters. So you use letters. So for example, I'm using X, Y, A. So when I come up to coefficients, if I say 2x, my coefficient is 2. If I say, for example, just y, then my coefficient is 1. So you always have a coefficient, -10a, then -10 is my coefficient, okay? An expression is essentially a value set with no equal sign. So you have no equal sign. So 2x plus 3 is an expression. -5y minus 4z is an expression. Essentially anything that has no equal sign. If I just say 3, that is also technically an expression because there's no equal sign. Okay. Terms is how many values with plus or minus. So if I say 2x squared minus 5x minus 10, then that has, since there are 3 values with plus and minus, there are 3 terms. So each term is a number with a plus or minus in front of it. So if I have 4a cubed plus 6a squared plus a minus 10, that's 4 terms. So monomial is essentially a fancy math way to say one term. So 2x would be one term. If I say 5, that's one term. 6x squared y, one term. Notice no plus or minus signs. So that's a monomial. I'm not going to go over monomials, not monomials. That should be hopefully fairly straightforward at this point. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. So binomial would then be two terms. So 2x plus 3, 4x squared minus 5x. So basically two values with their plus or minus. Binomial, trinomial, same idea, only now three terms. So 2x squared plus 5x minus 3, 4a cubed minus 6a plus 1/2, 1/2. Okay, so a polynomial is many terms, and all the values I've written up here are polynomial. Okay, so polynomial has a couple of other rules. So the rules for polynomial: 1, exponents are whole numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3. 2, no variables in the denominator. So for example, 1 over x would be a no. So that is not okay. So 3, no variables inside radicals. So also if I have square root of x, that is also a no. Okay. Okay. Like terms, same variable piece. Essentially, you can add or subtract if they're like terms. So 2x, 3x is a yes. 3x squared, 2x is no. All right. This x and x are the same. So 2x and 3x, the x is matching. If I look at this, I have x squared and x, and they are not matching. So that's that. Standard form is in order highest to lowest on your exponent. So if I take 2x minus 4 plus 3x cubed minus 6x squared, and I want it in standard form, then I reorganize it from your highest exponent, which is 3. So 3x cubed goes first. The next exponent down is 2 minus 6x squared. Next exponent is just 1, 2x, and then your constant term minus 4. That is then in standard form. So you want to make sure that you're organizing it in standard form in this way. Okay, if I'm looking for degrees of a polynomial, the degree is simply the highest exponent. So on this value up here, my degree is 3. So 3x cubed minus 6x squared plus 2x minus 4. 3 is the biggest exponent, so the degree is 3. Okay, and we also have to follow all of the polynomial rules. So it has to be following the polynomial. So remember, our rules are, has to have whole number exponents, no variables in the denominators, no radical variables. So reasons for not a polynomial is what I just said. So for not, variables in the denominator, 1 over x, variables in radicals, in radicals, so like square root of x, cube root of y won't work, and different exponents. So exponents that are not whole numbers. So any exponent that's not a whole number is not a polynomial set. Okay, so how do we determine whether or not? So this one is yes, and it's already in standard form since it's 4, 3, and 1. This one is yes. You can have a fraction coefficient. So if I write it in standard form, highest exponent is a to the 5th, then minus 4/3 a. This one is no because the m is in the denominator. This one is also no because my exponent is -2. So negative exponent. This one is no fraction exponent. This one is tricky, the 7. That is actually a yes, and it's because we need to remember that x to the 0 is 1. So I can write this as 7x0. So essentially, whole number. So adding in that 0 as a possibility. Okay, this one is yes. It's already in standard form. This one is no. No, and because I have a radical variable right here. All right, so that's how you can look at a number and tell whether it's polynomial or not. Essentially, if there's anything kind of weird going on, then it's not a polynomial.